I pretended to be a stranger's husband to scare off her stalker, and now we have 2 kids. The woman at the coffee shop counter was shaking as she handed me my order. Her hands trembled so badly that coffee spilled over the rim onto the counter, and she apologized 3 times in rapid succession while wiping it up. I was about to tell her it was fine when I noticed her eyes weren't on me, but on someone behind me in line. I turned and saw a man standing too close to the person in front of him, his gaze locked on the barista with an intensity that made my stomach turn. He was maybe 35, dressed in business casual, holding his phone up in a way that suggested he was recording her. When our eyes met, he didn't look away or seem embarrassed. He smiled. The barista, whose name tag read Vanessa, handed me my coffee with a whispered thank you that sounded more desperate than polite. I took the cup and moved toward the door, but something about the fear in her voice stopped me. I'd seen that kind of fear before in my younger sister, when her ex-boyfriend wouldn't accept their breakup. I'd seen it in my mother when my father's anger issues escalated before she finally left him. I recognized it, and I couldn't walk away from it. I stepped aside near the condiment station and watched. The man ordered a black coffee and spent the entire transaction staring at Vanessa in a way that felt predatory. When she handed him his cup, he said loud enough for several customers to hear, "Same time tomorrow, Vanessa. I'll be counting the hours until I see you again." Vanessa's face went pale. She nodded quickly and turned to the next customer, but I could see her hands were shaking worse now. The man left, glancing back twice at her before exiting onto the street. I should have minded my own business, but instead, I approached the counter when there was a brief lull in customers. Vanessa looked up at me with obvious anxiety, probably thinking I was going to complain about something. I kept my voice low and asked if she was okay, if that man was bothering her. Her eyes filled with tears instantly, and she glanced around to make sure her manager wasn't nearby before nodding. She said he'd been coming in every single day for 6 weeks, always at the same time, always ordering the same thing, always staring at her and making comments about how beautiful she was and how they were meant to be together. She'd asked him to stop, told him she wasn't interested, and he'd responded by showing up more frequently, by waiting for her outside after her shifts, by following her to her car. She said she'd reported it to her manager who'd banned him from the store, but he kept coming back anyway. She'd filed a police report twice, and both times they'd said they couldn't do anything unless he made an explicit threat or physically touched her. Everything else was just free speech and public spaces. She was terrified. I asked if she was here now because she had to work, or because she was afraid not showing up would make things worse. Vanessa said both. Her manager had been sympathetic at first, but after the second police report went nowhere, the manager had started acting annoyed by the disruption and suggested maybe Vanessa was misinterpreting friendly behavior, that maybe she should just accept the compliments and be flattered. I felt anger rising in my chest at that response, at the dismissal of her obvious fear, at the implication that she should just tolerate harassment because some man decided she was his obsession. I told Vanessa my name was Colin and asked if she'd be comfortable with me sitting in the coffee shop for a while to see if he came back. She looked surprised and asked why I would do that, and I said because someone should, because the system that was supposed to protect her was failing, and maybe a visible male presence would deter him. She hesitated, then said he usually came back around 4 hours when her shift ended.